I want free lenses from Sigma to review. I've been watching my favorite camera channels on YouTube to see exactly how they review lenses to impress Sigma.
You're going to be uglier on the Sigma, guarantee you.
In conducting my research, I've watched many reviews on the Sigma 24 to 70mm art lens, the Mark II, and I've discovered some key elements into what goes into making a great lens review. The first thing I've noticed is many lens reviews are filmed in an epic location.
You see me? I'm outside, interacting with the real world. Well, I'm talking to a camera in front of the real world. It counts, right? So as I walk Midtown Toronto, I just want to say thanks to Sigma Canada for sending this guy over pre-release so that I can put it through its paces and I can show you guys what it can do.
Welcome back, Petapixel viewers. Chris Nichols here. We are coming to you from not Calgary. We're actually out here on Vancouver Island enjoying the lovely town in Nanaimo right now. And we are going to play with the brand new Sigma Art Series 24 to 70 f2.8 version 2.
We're in Washington Square Park reviewing the new Sigma 24 to 70. It's half the price of the Sony version of this lens, but is it as good? We're going to be looking at the sharpness and chromatic aberration and all of the things to do with this lens to see if spending about half the price gets you almost the same quality.
It's cold out there. I really don't want to do my lens review outdoors. I was feeling a little deflated until I noticed that Gerald Undone does his lens reviews indoors.
What's happening, everybody? I'm Gerald Undone, and glass is glass, and glass breaks. For disclosure, you should be aware that Sigma did lend me this lens to make this review. I don't get to keep it, no money changed hands, and Sigma does not get any input on this video's production or get to preview it before it's posted.
I've noticed that most reviews start out by showing close-ups of the lens itself, and in the case of the Sigma 24 to 70, they really focus on the declickable aperture ring.
Now, the aperture ring does have a lock, so I can lock it into the auto setting, and it is clickable or declickable set, whether you want a silent and smooth turn for video or the click stops for photography.
You can also lock the aperture ring into auto or manual mode.
Tactile experience I always talk about. It's got this clickable aperture ring. It feels good. It feels solid. It has programmable buttons right on the lens if you're into that sort of thing. And it looks and feels great. We just have to see if the photos are great.
There's now the iris ring, which was absent on the first lens. And the iris ring comes with an iris lock, which I quite like. So that way, if you do set it to A, like I have here, because you want to adjust the iris in camera, it's not going to come off that A setting until you release this switch. And then they also have the ability to click or declick the iris ring here.
Since I don't own the Sigma 24 to 70mm lens, I decided to practice my reviewing skills using the Sigma 28 to 70. Let me just grab it so I can try to show you the declickable aperture ring. Wait a minute. This doesn't have an aperture ring. The next key point to a good lens review is a sharpness test. You either need a brick wall or a really cool test chart.
But happy to report, of course, a Sigma art lens going to be exceptionally sharp for a zoom lens, very sharp in the center. It falls off a little bit towards the corners when you are down at f2.8. As you stop it down, it does get sharper across the frame. So around f8, I find, is the sweet spot if you're trying to take landscapes or architecture photography, where the entire frame, corner to corner, is sharp.
Which one of these is sharper? At 24 millimeters, zooming in 300%, I just really can't find any place in the image where one picture is any sharper than the other.
Instead of a brick wall, I've decided to use this photograph of toilet paper for my sharpness test. I took one photo at f2.8 and another at f5. I don't know, the toilet paper looked pretty sharp to me. No lens review would be complete without showing how the lens makes Sunstars.
But of course, you guys want Sunstars, right? I mean, if you're gonna do video production, it's all about Sunstars. So let's talk about Sunstars. Actually, they're not very good. I mean, looking here, you can see at f16, we're getting a Sunstar effect, but it's pretty soft, it's pretty mushy. We're not getting any sort of sharp definition. So if you're into Sunstars like me, this isn't gonna be your favorite lens.
When it comes to Sunstars, you're not usually expecting fantastic Sunstars out of a 24 to 70 lens, but the Sunstars do look quite nice when you stop the lens all the way down to f16 or f22.
As we look at the starbursts in Lightroom, they both look good. They both have 22 points because they both have 11 aperture blades. They both have these geometric green and red dots that are caused by the light reflecting off of the Sony sensor, but The winner here is clearly the Sigma, which has a crisper and cleaner starburst. It seems to have generally better contrast than the Sony GM lens, which is amazing because the Sony GM lens is fantastic.
And then if you care about Sunstars, here's an f/22 image. Look at them go. Look at all the little points.
I was able to take my camera out and make some Sunstars by closing down my aperture to f/22, but as a public service announcement, try not to look directly into the sun. Most lens reviewers discuss something called chromatic aberration, and I decided I want to discuss that too. But first I need to figure out what it means. I decided to turn to Brian James Photography for a practical explanation.
I did find a few problems though with chromatic aberration, or as one of the pupils I used to teach, a little bit of entry level to photography, used to call it colonic irrigation. I've got colonic irrigation on my photos, but chromatic aberration, that bit where you get the magenta and the green starting to put edges on different things as you get them in.
I think I found some. Speaking of color, I notice a lot of lens reviewers hold up a color chart.
When it comes to focus breathing, I'm happy to report this lens is also excellent at controlling focus breathing, which is great news because if you are using a Sony camera, you can't use that focus breathing compensation.
I don't have a color chart, but I decided to use this makeup palette and see if that'll work. The most critical part of any lens review is showing the bokeh balls. They should be perfectly round with no cat's eyes or onion rings.
At f2.8, you can see a bit of a cat's eye effect in the corner that does largely go away by the time you stop down to f4.5. We're still retaining a nice round shape to the highlights even when stopped down. I like that. But you can see here there is a little bit of an onion ring look to it.
Now when it comes to the bokeh balls, and I know you people are picky about your bokeh balls out there, I'm going to say bokeh before balls every single time because I'm out in public and I want to look like an upstanding citizen, but I was really surprised, even for a Sigma art lens, at how great they were. Just very circular, there was no haloing, no onion ringing.
The bokeh blobs at f2.8 from this distance are large and well behaved, with minimal evidence of outlining or undesirable onion ring textures within.
The bokeh observations. This is 24mm on the new Sigma wide open. We have an 11-bladed iris here, so we're getting really, really smooth orbs. We have a little bit of cutting in going on in the top corner here.
Here's some of the bokeh balls I was able to get. They look pretty round to me, and you absolutely must do an autofocus test.
Sigma is using their wonderful HLA autofocus system, and that is certainly, in my opinion, on par with Sony's latest and greatest autofocus.
Change the focus mode to continuous AFC mode though, and the Sony switches to phase detect autofocus only, with essentially instant results between the bottle and the background.
From watching all of these lens reviews, I've realized I really do have my work cut out for me if I want to impress Sigma. I know if I want to review Sigma lenses, I need to invest in some Sony G Masters for comparison. I might need to take out a second mortgage on my house. If a representative from Sigma is watching this, I would love to get free lenses. Feel free to email me. If you like this video, give it a like. Consider subscribing for more camera-related content from a newbie like me. God bless.